That's the only thing that's left here, is to
Yes.
love him unconditionally. And it was just a practice in just loving unconditionally.
Yes.
So it kind of turned into service, you see?
Yeah.
And all my life became about service.
Yeah.
And then there came a point where it was clear that if I were to stay in this marriage, I'm going to get sick. It was just clear. I'm going to get sick. It's not going to work.
You don't think that was a concept of the mind coming in?
Well, it's all concepts, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's all concepts. A few wacky, phenomenal things happen because you see, you know yourself when your third eye is open, there's all kinds of visions and things. And I know with Amma, the hugging mother Amma,
Yeah.
first time she came to Dublin, after my hug, my body started shaking, and it was an hour and 20 minutes of this kind of craziness. I was sitting in a chair, it looked like I had some epilepsy or something.
Yeah.
And during that shaking episode, I had a very long conversation with her, and she said, your marriage is going to break up. And I was like, no, you're just wielding my worst fear in front of me. Okay, let's work on fear. No, your marriage is going to break up. Okay, you're just working on fear. And I couldn't hear her. She said, this was all in my head, of course, you know?
Yeah.
Your marriage is going to break up. And so I, sat down with my husband and said, this is what she said, this is what this woman said. And he said, but sure, that's crazy. And I said, yeah, okay, that's crazy. And that was put to bed. So it's all concepts, but for sure a seed was sown there, and it was like, this really could happen. And it would be my worst fear. It would be the way of dealing with my worst fear. Oh God, can I deal with my worst fear without it happening? And of course all that arose.
Yes.
But obviously not. It had to happen.
Yeah.
Some things have to happen.
Yes.
And yeah, I had to go through that one. I couldn't kid myself and annihilate my deepest fear. I couldn't do it.
Yes.
I had to break it and get out,
So when you say I had to break it, I had to get out.
Yeah.
Now who is this I now?
That's right. You see, that's language, isn't it?
Yes.
There was a sense of that force moving. And in India, all of that movement stopped. It all stopped. And it stopped with what was seen as the last desire breaking. Because little things, the eye pops up, and then there's a big period of no eye, and then the eye pops up and you're caught in a twirl, and that was how it used to phase out.
Yes.
I suppose,
Yes.
from the 2 years ago for the last 2 years,
Yeah.
4 years ago till 2 years ago.
So it still managed to confuse you.
Yeah, there was still a sense of, there's an eye playing, okay, I feel like I exist now, okay, let's run this out.
Yes.
And I would go along with the movie, because it was like, no, there's identification here, and it would spin. But it was only stimulated with desire for the last couple of years. It was only stimulated around desire.
Yeah.
And of course it had to do with desire of the body, because the I am the body belief was still running. That was still the sticky one, I am the body. That was just hanging on. It would come in every now and then, and 2 months would pass by and it would come in again.
Yes.
And in India, the final burning happened, yeah. For sure, the final burning happened. When desire was totally seen through, there was a knowing that desire needs an I. Is it desire that creates the I? Is the I there and it creates the desire? And it just seemed to dissolve together. And there was a knowing that the I never existed at all. And that was absolutely seen.
Yeah.
Sure, how could it? It never was. Yeah. Even the idea of it coming back would be nuts now.
Yes.
Because,
It's interesting what you say, is because through the seeing something and understanding.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It starts opening up.
Yes.
And relaxing and dissolving.
That's right.
Yeah.
There's a coming home, because mind isn't outward focus, or mind isn't seeking.
Yes.
And all that intense energy of seeking. Man, it's exhausting.
Yeah.
And there's something at peace all the time.
Yeah.
Waiting for the dissolving. And it will dissolve. You can play around with doing things, and being in sacred places, or going to satsang and doing all these things that give some breather, some taste of what is beyond your mind.
Yes.
But for everybody it's different. You see, there's no two paths that are the same.
No, exactly.
You see, and that's the beauty of manifestation. It doesn't duplicate much.
Yes.
You know, maybe it doesn't
Yes.
duplicate at all.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, in a way, I understand. You know, some people we have here hesitate to tell their story because of that, because they say it cannot be duplicated.
Yes, of course.
Yeah? And our mind takes it and thinks, oh, it worked. Such and has worked for you, and I have to try that out.
That's
and
right.
So forth.
That's right.
Yeah.
And try everything. You know, because at the point of seeing that nothing works, now we're getting someplace.
Yes.
Do you know? But sometimes you got to do everything to know that it doesn't work.
Yeah.
I remember the day that doing japa on my mali, you know, and God, I was a japa woman, and doing japa and just, but sure, this is just, I'm just chasing my own tail here.
Yes.
Doing japa is just keeping my mind busy. Sure, this is completely perpetuating the eye because the eye is doing japa. And that went too, you know, in the sense of there's nothing at all, sure. There's nothing I can do.
So, Jack, I know your book, and that's what I like so much about your book, is it gives so many pointers. Can you give us some pointers now? How to go about?
Yeah, the mind always asks how, doesn't it?
What is the essence of your teaching?
Oh, there's no teaching. Bless us, there's no teaching.
So there are pointers.
There really,
you point
there's
the
pointers.
People into the right direction.
Yeah, something.
If there is a right direction.
Yeah, and it depends where the question comes from. It's very much a personal response, what works through this form, anyway.
Yes. Let's say if somebody comes to you and is suffering, I don't know, because of illness or their relationship or whatever, where do you guide them from there?
Yeah.
How can they make this jump?
Yeah. You see, if one cannot see that it is thought that has one bound, we can't do much.
No.
When that space comes and where you can see this is your thought, now with that observation, there's some bit of breathing space. There's some bit of like, whoa, there's something that can see the thought. And the thought is invariably there's a desire underneath it. I want this suffering to go. I don't want this to be like this. Sure. This shouldn't be happening to me. No. Find the desire underneath the subject matter. It's usually not the subject matter.
Yes.
Do you know? It's like the desire underneath it is the one that causes problems. So even if your leg is broken, there's going to be huge pain. Yes. But the desire for the pain to go causes more pain than the physical leg.
Yes.
So if that can be seen, that the desire running, the identification with desire, that can be seen that it's simply a thought. Yes. And so it's okay, it's just a desire. Okay, from the observer mode, now we can do something.
Yes.
From the observer mode, well, there is an openness.
Yes.
Because interest in believing one's thoughts must fall away.
Yes.
Now, some are lucky enough to awaken when they're walking on the beach, and lucky for them. Yeah. That's great. But in that moment of walking on the beach when everything is seen, you can be sure there is no caught up in a story in that moment. For sure.